Guys living on Skid Row.
Hello everyone, this is Backyard Musings, broadcasting live from the Double Wide in Apple Valley, California. I'm Steve.
And I'm Scott.
We're giggling because it's cold and I had to put my hood up. My ears are cold.
It's a cool day, yeah. We may have to build a fire.
Might have to. So yesterday we promised you SCOTUS, Supreme Court of the United States. And
That's about all we got going for us these days, right?
yeah, so some cases are being decided right now about and potential future issues that the court may hear. We're going to talk about some of those. So the most recent one, Colorado Supreme Court, right?
Yeah.
So what's going on there?
You know, they don't want him on the ballot.
No.
And the state doesn't want him. The governor doesn't want him. I don't know what they're afraid of. I don't know what the deal is. You know, let the people speak.
Right.
We the people.
So the court held that Donald Trump, Colorado Supreme Court, held that Donald Trump committed insurrection, is therefore ineligible to be elected president. The Colorado Supreme Court justices are not elected by the people, but they're appointed by the governor.
Yeah, a little different there. Yeah.
So unelected people are telling the voting people for whom they cannot vote, we're going to take them off. You can't vote for them. And what happened at the Capitol in D.C., it's not in the Colorado's jurisdiction.
And he hasn't been charged yet.
And there's no witnesses or nothing that they've talked to, right?
Yeah, nobody's been charged. Nobody's
Yeah.
been charged with an insurrection.
So here's the relevant clause from the 14th Amendment. It says, quote, "No person shall be a senator or representative of Congress or elector of president and vice president or hold any office, civil or military, under the United States or under any state who, having previously taken an oath as a member of Congress or as an officer of the United States or as a member of any state legislature or as an executive or judicial officer of any state," executive officer, I just noticed that, "to support the Constitution of the United States," oh, so that says of any state, "to support the Constitution of the United States shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same or given aid or comfort to the enemies thereof, but Congress may by 2/3 vote of each house remove such disability." So, and when I was reading that, executive or officer of a state, not executive of the United States, right? So at issue is whether the president and the vice president are officers of the United States. That's the first issue. Because if they are, then that clause applies to them, right? And then, so the second issue is whether or not an insurrection occurred. And there's very, very little talk of that during oral arguments. They focused on the ramifications if someone is pulled off a ballot. So if someone's pulled off a ballot and Supreme Court says, yeah, that can be done, what's going to happen in Michigan when they don't want to see a Republican on the ballot?
What's going to happen? What's going to happen in our state, California?
Same. Or let's say Wyoming doesn't want to see a Democrat on the ballot.
Well, they probably wouldn't in Wyoming.
I know, but
you're right. But yeah,
to
to bar them or just not let them be on the ballot is just not right. I mean, the people should be allowed to pick our representatives. So
how about this? Larry Hogan just declared his candidacy for senator in Maryland. He was governor there before, in a left-leaning, blue state,
right.
And he did pretty well for the people, right? So he's running for Senate. Could the Dems do
U.S.
that?
Senate.
Yeah, U.S. Senate. Could the Dems do that against him? Could do it against anyone.
Well, if it's just, again, it's going to come down to this ruling here. So, and that's just not right.
No.
And then we got Hawaii, but it's unfortunate in Colorado because Colorado used to be a great state, just like California used to be a great state, and it's turned into just an extension of California, unfortunately.
Yeah, my brothers hunt there. I used to hunt there for elk. Elk is delicious.
We have family there, and it's just, depending on where you live, it's tough. The governor's Democratic governor there, and it's a sad state.
It is. Do you like elk?
I have had elk meat.
Elk is delicious.
It's not something I'd order off a menu, but I've had it. It's good.
I'll take your portion.
Okay.
All right, so how far will Democrats go to keep themselves in power? Right? So the Hawaii State Senate narrowly passed a bill in their committee to get it out of committee and to vote on the floor that could keep Donald Trump off the Hawaii presidential ballot. It now goes before the State House of Representatives to see if it passes and goes to the governor. So that now it's the legislature coming after a person.
Yeah, and I don't understand why they would go through all that hassle to do that.
It's a blue state anyways.
They're not gonna vote for Trump there, but just like California.
There's some wonky things that happen over there. We'll be talking about it today.
Yeah, I don't know. This is a lot of just, I don't know, smoke and mirrors, acting, just getting all excited. I don't know. I don't know why they're afraid of, especially that state, because like I said, it's
decidedly blue.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing going to happen over there.
So advocates for the bill claim Trump's involvement in the mostly peaceful protest at the Capitol on June 6, 2021, amounted to an insurrection that would bar him for running or winning the presidency. Again, the mostly peaceful protest didn't happen in Hawaii. It happened in D.C., right? So, I mean, without even taking his due process away, by taking his due process away, they're just making judgment.
Exactly. Again, barring the people that would vote for him with the opportunity to do that.
So this was staggering that I did some research. Why don't you tell us all the states that are trying to prevent Trump from being on the ballot?
Okay, well, we got Arizona, Alaska. Nevada. Of course,
yeah.
he just won that.
Yeah, he did.
He
The caucus.
he just won that caucus.
And Nikki Haley couldn't even win when Trump wasn't on the ballot.
Right. New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, Oregon, South Carolina. Texas is the one that is really bogging.
Washington's not there. Oh, yeah, Texas.
West Virginia, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. So Texas and Wyoming are...
Well, that's Democrats trying to pass, a law or put a case into the court system.
Yeah. How many Democrats are there in Wyoming? Like 5? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe more so now. I know in the Jackson Hole area,
If you're you're right. If you're a Democrat in, was it Wyoming? In Wyoming, put a comment on here for us.
Let us know what the deal is. Yeah, what are you afraid of?
That's staggering, isn't it? All those states going against one man.
Yeah, and Texas is another one that...
Yeah, well, I really think it's a Democrat trying to push something through. So, speaking of Hawaii, this is... We talked about erosion of the Bill of Rights, like last week or something like that.
Yeah.
This is crazy. Their highest court decided recently that Hawaii's spirit of aloha supersedes the Second Amendment. What? Here's part of the opinion. Quote, Article 1, Section 17 of the Hawaii Constitution mirrors the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution. So what's the problem?
What's the superseding?
The Hawaii Supreme Court decision states, quote, we read those words differently than the current United States Supreme Court. We hold that in Hawaii there is no state constitutional right to carry a firearm in public. What? How are you going to go hunting? How are you going to carry your rifle from your home up to the hills to go hunt sheep?
Yeah, I don't know.
So
why would anybody want to move to Hawaii?
Yeah. So, quote, the spirit of aloha clashes with a federally mandated lifestyle that lets citizens walk around with deadly weapons during day-to-day activities. It says, further on they said, the history of the Hawaiian Islands does not include a society where armed people move about the community to possibly combat the deadly aims of others. Right?
Whatever.
I beg to differ.
Yeah, whatever.
I mean, I've been to Hawaii plenty of times, and I own land there, and I like Hawaii. I know that you don't.
I get it. No, I mean, I'm married into a family that's
right.
That's
your wife
it's all about Polynesian. So
yeah.
I mean, it's a beautiful place, but you go to Waikiki and Honolulu, and it's might as well be in LA. So, and it can be brutal there.
Yeah, well, Hawaii has a brutal. Now that you mentioned it, has a brutal history of island chiefs warring against each other. Right. One account on Oahu is that an invading force were pursued up to a cliff. Rather than surrender, they plunged over the cliff to their deaths. Right. I have Hawaiian weapons in my house that are just prominently displayed because I like to collect the Koa-wood weapons. Right. Mm-hmm. And nearly all of them use shark teeth. Right. So. You know how brutal that is, getting hit with a shark tooth weapon? Just tears your skin off, right? There's no right to bear shark teeth weapons. but the spirit of aloha allows it, right? I don't know. Crazy.
Some of those people driving on Hawaii should practice the aloha spirit.
You don't like Oahu traffic? It's pretty rough, Oahu traffic.
On the south, the south end of the island is pretty crazy.
So the phrase freewheeling right to carry guns in public was also used. So I didn't like that.
Right.
Like I said, we spoke a few days about the erosion of the Bill of Rights. We kind of just glossed over the Second Amendment because it's disputed so often and so much that we know so much. But this is egregious.
Again, right out in the open. They're not hiding in the shadows or anything. Just
Nothing.
Just
Hawaii,
going at it.
Hawaii rejected the SCOTUS interpretation of the Second Amendment in a 2008, and they said current Supreme Court, but this is 2008 and 2022 cases, which both held there's a constitutionally protected right to carry firearms. Constitutionally protected right. So then I'm thinking, okay, so you got a rogue court. What happens when a lower court specifically rejects a Supreme Court ruling? What happens? If any state or person does not follow the ruling of any courts, be it Supreme Court or subordinate courts, it will amount to contempt of court under the Contempt of Courts Act, 1971. Right?
And you have chaos.
You have chaos. And U.S. Code, 18 U.S. Code, Section 401, power of the court. I know it's legalese. Just let me go because I like the legal stuff. A court of the United States shall have power to punish by fine or imprisonment, or both, at its discretion, such contempt of its authority, and none other as 1. Misbehavior of any person in his presence or so near thereto as to obstruct the administration of justice. 2. Misbehavior of any of its officers in their official transactions. 3. Disobedience or resistance to its lawful writ, process, order, rule, decree, or command. That's what we're talking about. Number 3, right?
Yep.
And who knows what's going to happen with this? Dems have been calling for the Biden idiocracy to disregard SCOTUS decisions, but they use workarounds. This is clearly not a workaround, right? They just, like you said, openly.
Yeah.
No
they're just
workaround.
Blatantly going at whatever they want to do.
I guess that if the Hawaii Supreme Court justices are in prison, they can't make boneheaded decisions, right? But the thing is, the Supreme Court has no power of enforcement. They don't have officers that can go out and enforce. The executive branch would need to enforce the decree. Do you think the executive branch is going to enforce Hawaii's contempt of
Not at this
court?
point. Not at this point.
No.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
The DOJ is an extension. Yeah, no, it's not going to happen.
So this is
Sad-
crazy in
sad
Hawaii.
state.
Yeah.
Very sad.
What's to stop Illinois or California or Maine?
Yeah, you name it.
All right, folks, that's it. We thank you for joining us today. If you like what you saw, click subscribe. Tell your family, tell your friends, tell your enemies. We'll see you on the next show.
See you next week. Have a good day. Thank you.